In this session, you're going to learn more about how to conduct business analysis. Specifically, in this case, how to analyse a use case diagram in more detail to ask further questions and identify possible additional requirements. Also, how to add more detail to those requirements if needed. A standard approach to business analysis is called the top-down approach. You start by trying to capture a high-level view before diving into the detail. And then you analyse, you think, you question, you build up your understanding of how a system works, and then break it down into more detail as needed, using a combination of business diagrams and supporting text as needed. For me, one benefit of diagrams in business analysis is they make me think, they make me question. By looking at the diagram, I can generate further questions, further ideas. Taking this use case diagram, for example, if we look at this use case here, set up a special offer, made me think, well, if we're setting up a special offer, might book suppliers also be involved in that, on the basis that you might ask a book supplier to support a special offer by supplying discounted books or additional products or promotional items or whatever. I don't know for certain if that's the case, but it prompts me to ask the stakeholders if that might be the case, or if it isn't, if it might be looked at. On this use case diagram, purchase stock and set up special offer are shown as two separate use cases, two separate business processes. But that did make me think, could they be associated in some way? Is it possible that when we purchase stock for the shop, a bookseller, a book supplier, might offer to include a special offer of their own? So could these two use cases be associated in some way? I'm not sure of the answer to that, but it would prompt me to ask the stakeholders. Moving down to the use case at the bottom, organise event. Down here, it shows three actors associated with the process, with the use case. The bookseller who organises it over here, the event sponsor who might support or pay for part of it over here, and to the right, the author who presents the event. I've worked with a few bookshops in the past and I've seen how events are organised, and I know that in some cases it's not just authors that present events. They might involve other people such as local experts on a given subject or publishers. So that would prompt me in this case to ask that question of the stakeholders in the bookshop. Is it just authors, or do you want to include others? If you do, is it basically the same process, or is it something different? All these questions deepen your understanding and move you closer to a full understanding of the business requirements. A use case diagram deliberately shows a high level view of a system without all of the detail, which is fine, but you do need to add detail in many cases. So use cases don't show sequence very well other than by inference. Sometimes there are sequences of events that need to be shown. They don't show business rules particularly well. What I mean by business rule, for example, is when you sell an item, do you always take payment right away, or can you issue invoices? They don't show the detail of how processes work. So when it comes to, say, organise an event, it doesn't show what the detailed steps involved are. And importantly, it doesn't show a key aspect of systems very well, the data that you need to hold. For example, when you purchase stock, what information do you need to hold within the system? Date of order, items ordered, total cost, who placed the order, where it went, and so on. That's not a problem. All of that detail can be captured elsewhere and further down the line. So to repeat, a use case diagram shows a high-level view, but you need to and can add detail as needed. That detail can be captured here through documents that are called use case descriptions. A use case description can show sequences and business rules and the detail as needed of how a business process works and some of the data that might be involved. You would produce one use case description for each of the use cases on the diagram. So in this case, there would be 6 use case descriptions, one for each business process, for each use case shown here, and each would have a varying level of detail as required. Most use cases are a combination of diagrams and text. We will cover the detail of how you might do that, how to produce a use case description in a future session. You have now learned how you might analyse a use case diagram to identify additional requirements, and also how you might add further detail to those requirements as needed. You've seen how you might produce a use case diagram to show the high-level requirements, and then use case descriptions to show the detailed requirements. Thank you for listening.